Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Eric Schmieder, and in today's video we're going to talk about the Ollie. So for an Ollie, I have my shoes with me right here. For an Ollie, I like to place my back foot right inside the pocket of the tail, as you can see right here. So basically, I don't want to pull my toes far front or really back behind. I like to leave it in a way that's inside the pocket. You can play with this if you want to put it behind, a little bit more front, but the heels should be hanging off completely off the back of the skate, which is the tail. You don't want also your right side or your left side if you're doing it with Goofy. You don't want that back foot to be hanging off the end as well. You want it inside the tail, inside that pocket area. So you want to have that back foot right there. For the front foot, I like to have it before the bolts. You can leave it on top of the bolts, but the problem with leaving it on top of the bolts is that it's not gonna give you that space to create the ollie to raise it. You could do an ollie like this, but it's gonna be really small, so you don't want something small. So for a medium to a little bit higher, you want your ollies before the bolts. For a maximum ollie, you want your front foot in the middle of the board, because when you pop it, this front foot is gonna slide off up until the nose and just stay there. And what that's gonna create is that motion, that arc motion you see people do with the ollie. That's what's gonna create. So if you have a really front or close to the nose, it's not gonna create it that high, no matter how much you pop the back foot. Now, for this trick, it's kind of easy for some people, and for other people it's kind of hard. Me personally, it took me over 1 year to get the trick down precisely, and then to obviously add some obstacles and better the ollie and get it higher. So one problem with this is that a lot of people don't necessarily get their feet back up. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you're about to do the ollie, right? You pop your back foot and then you try to slide off. The problem when I see people is that they're too tense with this trick. They're too tense. It's normal that happens, but you want to bend your knees when you do this trick. When you do the ollie, you want to bend your knees. You don't have to bend them really hard, but if that helps, you can do them. As long as you bend your knees, you're okay with the trick. So you pop. First step is pop. What this is going to create is basically, right, you're in a flat surface and you pop. The first part that's going to come up is the nose. Once you pop, you need to raise this back foot. You need to raise it. You can't just pop it and leave it there. Like, oh, I popped it to pick up my board. No, this is popping to elevate the skateboard onto your feet. So you pop it. Since this is like this already, even if you place your foot without popping it, you've raised the skateboard. So you pop it, and that gives it momentum to like go up. Once you pop it, you want to use the front foot to slide it off. Right? Let me put this shoe right here. You pop it and you slide it off. What this is going to create is that balance. Because if you just pop it, it's just going to go straight up. Like when you pop it to pick it up, yeah. So you don't want that, because sometimes you're just going to end up with a rocket ollie like this without balancing it out, without leveling, So you want to like slide it off. When you slide it off, it's going to create that motion. Sometimes it's going to go like this. Sometimes it might be a little bit off, but you want to get used to that. So pop and drag, or you can say slide. You slide your foot across the grip tape. You slide it out front, and then you level it out. It's normal to be tense when you do this trick, but you want to see that. A lot of things that help with this is basically having a camera recording your progress and seeing the things that you're making bad with this trick. Seeing the foot placement, seeing the body not elevating when you do the trick, the front foot not sliding, other things as well, maybe balance when you're landing, because when you land you can get you can get used to the trick motion, but when you land, that's another thing. You might land a little bit more off, your feet might be more off the board, so you gotta practice that and master that trick until your feet land comfortably and you can roll away. Necessarily when you do a flat ground ollie, which is not rolling, you're just still, generally that's sometimes for me specifically, I land on that and I can't sit still. I need to keep moving, so I basically do the ollie and then I do a 180 or I tic-tac out of it to keep me going, because if I just stay still, I'm obviously gonna fall off or I'm gonna fail the trick, because I don't want to like do the trick and just stay still. You know, like you jump and you stay still. You know, when you jump, you gotta keep like maybe moving and back and forth with the tic-tac, front side, back side, whatever. So yeah, that's my advice for this trick. It's pretty easy. I suggest you do the flat ground first. You could do it on cracks. Cracks help a lot. Basically, cracks is like you know, a crack on the floor. You have a crack on the floor, you put your wheel in between it, doesn't matter which one. You put your wheel in it, and that just stabilizes the skate to not move and this and that, you know, back and forth or side to side. So you want to use a crack. You can also use the grass. Some people say, oh, I can't do tricks on grass because, you know, I can't pop them. But that's a lie. You can do ollies on grass. They're more helpful. If you're scared of falling, that is a great way to practice it. Yeah, basically that's it. You don't really need a helmet for this trick unless you're gonna do something scary or something big like a gap. But yeah, also you want to practice higher ollies by going up to obstacles, jumping onto obstacles like boxes, ledges, stuff like that basically. If your skate park doesn't have any ledge, or if you're not in a skate park, you can go to a plaza or like a bench. If you have like a hoop outside or a basketball court that's open to the public and it has some benches, you can practice that. And sometimes you might think it's kind of like, oh, it's hard, you know, it's really tall, it's really high. Well, the more reason you need to practice to get on that. I will practice dropping in from the ledge or from the bench up until the ground to get used to the height, to like bend my knees and everything. And then I will practice ollieing up onto the bench or the ledge and then dropping out of it. So yeah, that's a way to increase your ollies and make them higher. The other one is jumping over obstacles. This could be like gaps, this could be skateboards, basically anything. So yeah, I hope you actually learned this trick, and much success to you in your journey, and thanks for watching. See you. Okay, also, when you're about to jump with the ollie, the back foot, usually when I bent it, right, when I bent my foot to the position to jump and pop the ollie, I use the ball point of my toe, of my big toe, right? I don't know what's it called, but it's in between the arc and the toe. Right below that, there's a ball, right? And usually you use that when you bend over, when you walk, when you run. Usually you use that bone right there. That, I don't know if it also has a muscle, but that bone right there, that ball right there, and the toe, you use that. So use that to jump and pop. When you use that to jump and pop, that usually is you putting a lot of pressure on that, so you're not just hitting it with your toe. Because if you use your toe really doesn't do much, you know. And if you use your ankle is just like flexing it, but the ball point of your toes they put a lot of pressure there, especially when you're not doing anything, you're just flexing. So when you flex, you know, when you bend your knees, you're flexing. So you want to flex, right? Bend your knees, be ready to pop, and when you pop, focus that on the ball point so it adds that pressure and it's more smooth.